Alright, so this video will focus on Chapter 4, Section 6. And the first thing we're going to do is find the slope of these lines. Now, the slope is, I have to look for just a couple ordered pairs here, and where they cross exactly. So like right here is a place where they cross exactly. And this would be negative 3 and 1. I'll write this down. So I'll put down negative 3 and 1. And then the other one here where it crosses exactly, and it crosses here, but it also crosses down here, which would be 3, negative 3. And this, of course, is your x and your y. And to figure out slope, remember slope is a change in y over the change in x. So let's just go here and look at it. So we see that it goes negative. It's going down 4. And this one here is going up by 6. So my slope is negative 4 over 6. Or I could reduce that down, right? To negative 2 over 3. This one here, I look for my ordered pairs. Again, I have 2, 1, and it looks like negative or 0, negative 3. So let's write these down. So I'll go to 2, 1. And then the other one is 0 and negative 3. And my change here is going down by 4. And this change is going down by 2. So this would be negative 4 over negative 2. Now we've learned before that a negative divided by a negative is a positive, which makes sense because look at this. From left to right, this line is going upwards. If I go from left to right, like reading a book. Just like this was a negative one, going from left to right, it's going down. So that makes sense that this will be positive, and it'll be 2 over 1. All right, so here's the question. How could you write an equation of a line when you are given a slope and the y-intercept of a line? So let's try doing that. I have this right here, and it says find the slope of each line. Now notice these are all parallel, meaning they will never ever cross. And what's cool about this is it will actually, all three of these lines here will have the exact same slope. That's why they don't cross. So the slope of each line, if I look at my pairs here, it goes up 1 over 2. So this one here would be 1 over 2x. This one here is going downwards, and it's going down 1, 2, and over 1. So this is going, let me just write these down here. So the first one is going up 1 over 2. And it's a positive slope. This is for A. For B, if I look at this one, I'm choosing an order pair where it starts at the 3 and goes down 1, 2, and over 1. So this would be negative 2 over 1. Again, it's a negative slope. This is a positive slope because from left to right it's going upwards. This one here, I have 3 different lines that I'm looking at. The first line that I'm going to look at here starts over, let's just say, right down here, and it crosses up here. So I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, and over 1, 2, 3. So it goes up 4 over 3, and that's the red. Again, all I did is I looked for where it crosses, and it seems to cross right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1, 2, 3. This one here, the green one, is a positive slope as well. It starts right here, and I go up 1 and go over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this green is 1, 6. And then the blue, it's a negative slope, and it goes down 1, and it goes over 1, 2, 3. And again, all that I'm looking for is where it crosses the line, like intersects between the x and y, and I'm just counting to where it gets to the next intersection. And then if I look at this one here, you could try doing that one. And what do these lines have in common for these 3 here? They all have the same slope if you look at them. They all go up 1 over 2. Up 1 over 2. That's why they're parallel. These are all the same. They'll all go down 2 and over 1. It says here, find the area of each parallelogram. And then it says, write an equation that represents each side of the parallelogram. Well, the area one, we've done it before in the past. And to figure out the area, I would just do my length times my width. Even though it is a parallelogram, I could just go how many up it goes. So it goes up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's be 6. And then it goes over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times 7. So this equals 42 units squared. And then this one here is going over 1, 2, 3, 4. So this would be a 4 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 4 times 7 equals 28 units squared. It's just like a rectangle, it's just on a slant. And then for each, if I want to figure out the slope, this is crossing at 4, right? So y has got to be 4. So let's write this down. So it could be like 0, 4, 1, 4, 2, 4, 3, 4. They all are at the 4, right? So this is just y equals 4. That represents this line up top. This line down here is y equals -2, right? It's going through -2. Whatever the x value is, it doesn't matter. Y is always -2. So that's these two lines here. To figure out this equation, I have to go through and this right here, let's just put down some ordered pairs. And this ordered pair right here is 2 and 4. So I'll write this down, 2 and 4. And this line down here is 5 and -2. And I look for my change in y over my change in x. And this is going down by 6, and this is going up by 3. So I'm going to say -6 over 3. So that equals -2 over 1. That's my slope. I got to find out where it starts. And I don't really see it here, do I? I mean, it's hard to identify. So what you could do is, now that you know the slope of -2 over 1, I can plug in either ordered pair into my equation. So I'm going to go y equals mx plus b. I know that my slope, or my m, is going to be -2 over 1. I know if I choose one of these ordered pairs, let's just plug in, this is my y term and this is my x term. So I'll plug in a 4 for my y equals -2 times the x that goes with that y value, which is in this case is 2. And I'll say plus b. And -2 times +2 is -4. And this equals 4, and it's plus b. Now to get the b by itself, I have to add 4 to both sides. And now I have b equals 8. So my equation right here, I don't see it, but we could assume that the equation is y equals -2 over 1 x plus 8. All right, and then my final one, and I just want to write this all down. In fact, let's open up a Desmos program real fast. I want to show you something kind of cool. Go off to the side. So Desmos, and I'm just going to graph out these things that we just did. So I'm going to say y equals 4. I'm going to say y equals -2. And then I'll say y equals, we just said it was -2 x plus 8. So hopefully you can start to see that what I'm doing is I have this line, I have the bottom line, this line here, and as soon as I get, you can kind of see it over here. See how this green represents this one here, the blue represents this line down here, the pink represents this line right here, and it's going to figure out what this line is here. So we'll do that right now. I'll just get a new page for a second. And let's move this down. Let's look for two ordered pairs. So this one here is -5 and 4. So I'll put that down here. -5 and 4. And then the other one is going to be -2 and -2. And when I find the difference of this, it's going down by 6. This one is going up by 3. So this is going to be -3 over 1x. And we have to figure out the starting point, right? We don't know what that is. Now these should be parallel, right? Which I made a mistake here. This should be -2x. These should be parallel because they look the same. But the difference is the starting point, right? Where they start from. So let's write this out, and I choose an ordered pair. And let's just say I have 4 equals, again, I'm doing y equals mx plus b. I have my 4, which is my y, and my slope, which is -2. And then my x term that corresponds to this 4 is -5. And I'll say plus b. And negative 2 times negative 5 is positive 10. So I have 10 plus b equals 4. And when I subtract 10 from both sides, because I want to get b by itself, I'm going to get negative 6. So let's just graph this one out. So I'll say y equals negative 6, negative 2, x minus 6. And when I look here, I mean, it's kind of hard to see it. But if I look, this little pattern right here inside is the exact same thing as this right here. So that's how we do this. All right, next one is we're going to go through and look for some examples. It says write an equation of a line in slope-intercept form. So this is, of course, changing by negative 3 and over 2. So I'll say negative 3 over 2 plus 5, because it's where it crosses the x-axis, or the y-axis, where x is 0, y is 5. So again, it's y equals negative 3 over 2, x plus 5. This one here, it's going up 5 over 3, so it'd be 5 over 3, x, and then it crosses this axis at 0, negative 3, so minus 3. So there it is. So now go for this one, try to figure out the slope. Of course, we have the intercept, the y-intercept, which is 2. The change is going up by 2 over 1, so it'd be y equals 2 over 1, x plus the starting point of 2. This one here is, the starting point is negative 1. It's going down 4, and it's going over 3. So it'd be negative 4 over 3, x minus 1. So you can see how I did that. Right here it says, what is the equation of the graph? Again, it's crossing at negative 4, right? Like it's always negative 4 is my y term, so it'd be y equals negative 4. This one here shows the difference. Write an equation that represents a distance in feet. So it's going down by 2,000 and over by 4. So 2,000, let me just write this down. 2,000 divided by 4 is 500, right? So down 2,000. And again, all that I'm doing is I'm putting 0, 3,500, and 4, 1,500. So this is going down by 2,000. And this is going up by 4. So that'd be negative 2,000 over 4 equals negative 500 over 1. Now it makes sense that's a negative slope because from left to right it's going down. My starting point is 3,500. So y equals negative 500 over 1 x plus 3,500. Oh, and then the next question, I'm sorry, it says how much time does it take to complete the tunnel? So where I want y to be equal to 0. So if I plug this in and I say I want y to equal 0, I'll say, so 0 equals negative 500 x plus 3,500. I want to subtract negative 3,500 from both sides. I mean, of course, you could just look at the graph too, but we're going to do this algebraically as well. So negative 3,500 equals negative 500x. I have to do the multiplicative inverse, which is 1 over negative 500 on both sides. And negative 3,500 divided by negative 500 is x equals 7. So at 7 months, it will be equal to 0. So that's what that is. And then finally, write an equation with a line that passes through this. Now, the nice thing is we already have the starting point. We know the starting point will be 5 because that's my y-intercept there. So I'll say plus 5. And now we just got to look at the change in y over the change in x. So I go to 0 and 5 and 4 and 5. And if I look here, the change is 0. There's no change. This change is negative 4. I'm sorry, this is positive 4. So I have 4 over 0x, which is there's no slope. So it'd just be y equals 5. And that is the lesson.